Let's talk about 123 instrument failures. Today we're going to discuss two basic problems that are typical of 123 instruments. The broken ground in the fuel oil temp gauge and the malfunctioning odometer. Now these are probably topics I should have covered years ago, but I think we're at a point now where enough people have discovered these cars to where I'm going to get more views on this video, so the economic time can never be better. Now let's talk about this fuel oil temp gauge problem. First of all, this applies to all fuel oil temp gauges, not just this late version from an 83 or 84 300D, but could have been from an 85 as well, but not just this version, but even the chrome dot version that was used 1982 and earlier. Now what happens is that certain ground points break, and these ground points can result in some very weird things. But the two principal ones are the grounding tab where the solder joints break. And while this won't result in a problem here, it'll result in your clock and your tachometer not working. Or if you have a car with just a giant clock, the giant clock not working. It shouldn't affect anything else. Now, fixing it is as simple as inspecting these two solder joints right here for cracks. And yes, many a time they are broken. And that's one of the reasons why your tach may drop out or never come on at all. But we're going to talk about a different grounding problem. So sometimes right here where the bulbs go for the illumination, you see there are three wires up here. If you either pinch one of these wires in the speedometer housing, or you pinch or you try to put LED bulbs in and you fail miserably, the specific issue that can result, and it's kind of hard to see, but this circuit right here, this black wire, can start to burn up. Really, I mean, it depends on which wire is pinched. It could be any of them. And the way we fix a burned printed circuit isn't by soldering on the board of the circuit itself. We find where they connect, which is right here. And then we trace the printed circuit, which, yes, might mean you have to follow it underneath where these gauges go to the plug housing area. And then we take a little wire about like this, go from the point here where it connects and the point here where it connects, and we just solder a wire from one point to the other. Now, if you don't know how to solder, there are plenty of YouTube videos you can watch. You can buy all the equipment at Ace Hardware. So you could spend about $22 on equipment on average, or you can pay a company that fixes these like $400 to do the repair for you. So this is an easy DIY repair. Now, once you do that, you'll notice something happens. If this gauge is jumping and this gauge is pegging itself, especially when you turn on the lights, because it causes voltage bleed over, the problem will go away. You don't have to install an auxiliary ground wire here. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can just fix the board itself. Now, if you need access to the board, how do you get access to the board? 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 7mm nuts, 3, 4 cheese head screws, and you gently disconnect the gauge set from the board. It just pulls right off. It's also how you can change your oil pressure gauge and not have to change the whole thing. So everything in a 123 is designed to be disassembled, and most of it can even be repaired. Now let's talk about this odometer gear failure. So this is a speedometer from some unfortunate 1982, 81, 80 model year 240D. And I keep these things around because A, sometimes they need parts, or B, sometimes cars show up with the wrong unit in them and I need to take one off the shelf, refurbish it, calibrate the mileage, etc. This one has a non-functioning odometer, and I'll tell you why. I can just look at it. Because this gray gear, you can see in here there's a gray gear right there, and it spins independently of the shaft. That gear, the gray gear, the first gear in, should not spin independently of the shaft. So how do you gain access to that gear to repair it? Well, there's an easy way to do this. And I think that some people that are in the instrument rebuilding business are going to hate me for this. But I don't care, because it's just an easy repair. It doesn't require a massive disassembly of the speedometer. You have to work this little brass bushing off the end, right here. Little brass bushing. Hard to see, but it just pops off with 1 or 2 little screwdrivers. Then you take a drill bit that's about 2 millimeters is a good drill bit size. You push this shaft through, and then you have access to the shaft. You're not trying to remove the gray gear, you're trying to get access to the shaft. And then you take a small square file, a stiff file, and like you're sharpening a knife, you use your grip strength to carefully and precisely cut splines in the shaft. You're cutting so that when you look at it, you can see and feel an abrasion. What this does is it disfigures the shaft a little bit, gives it a rough surface, and takes some metal and moves it up so it's not round anymore. Now it has some high points on it. Those high points grab the inside of this gear. You push the thing back in. You're going to need a little bit of force, and you tap the thing back on. But if this gear, this gray gear, now is affixed to the shaft and doesn't move independently of the shaft, the two should be lockstep. You move this shaft, this gear should move. You try to move the gear, the shaft should be so tight you can't rotate the gear freely of the shaft. Put it back together and your odometer should work, and it will stay working. It's not, if you do it right, if you are good and precise like a surgeon and you cut a nice little spline in there, it'll hold for hundreds of thousands of miles. Temperature changes, age of the gear, etc. will not cause problems. So I want you guys to remember this, because for the cost of roughly a $20 small square file that you can buy on Amazon or at Harbor Freight or something other than Harbor Freight, you probably have to get a 15-piece kit. You really want a very small, stiff square file with square edges, not round, at least one square edge. You can fix it instead of having to pull it out and wait for it to come back. You can sit there and in 45, 50 minutes, you can have a working odometer. Enough said. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video to be extremely useful. Also, if you have a chrome dot speedometer, don't forget to pull on the chrome dot. If it comes off, you can use some 3M weather strip glue or something similar, not Gorilla Glue, but I like 3M weather strip glue or wood glue, some kind of glue that sets up very fast and gets very firm, to glue it back on so it doesn't fall off. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for taking great care of these cars, and we'll talk to you in the future.